Mr. Webb, Ms. Ariaga, would you both raise your right hands and be sworn? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes,
I do.
swear.
Thank you. You can put your hands down, and counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to go ahead and call Miss Ariaga. Miss Ariaga, could you please state your full name for the record?
Mariah Jasmine Ariaga.
And Miss Ariaga, what is the name of the child that's party to the suit?
Oliver Lane Webb.
Oliver Lane Webb. Okay. And when was Oliver born? And so he is how old now?
4.
Okay. And who makes the day-to-day decisions for Oliver?
I do.
Okay. Is Oliver currently enrolled in any school or daycare?
Yes, he just started pre-K at.
Okay. And it looks like there's an acknowledgement of paternity that was signed by Mr. Webb. Do you recall that being signed at the hospital when Oliver was born?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you and Mr. Webb in a relationship during, during your pregnancy or at any time?
Yes, ma'am, we were.
Okay, how long were y'all in a relationship?
We were together about like 2.5, 3 years, I would say.
2.5 to 3
4 years.
4 years. Okay. And so when did y'all separate?
Well, we were having issues around 3 years, so I guess that's why I said 3 years. But I guess at 4 years is when we finally moved out from each other's house.
Okay, and that was when?
It was at
March of 2023.
Mr. Webb, I do realize you're trying to be helpful, but let's do this one at a time. And
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, he moved out March of 2023, and I ended the relationship. It was October 2022.
Okay.
Yes.
October 2022. All right. So, Miss Ariaga, are you, one second, let me get back to my notes. Okay. I guess there isn't an agreement regarding any of the terms of for establishing a paternity, but you do agree that Mr. Webb signed that acknowledgement of paternity and that he is the father of the child.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you are now requesting child support and medical support. And are you requesting retro child support?
No, I'm not requesting retro child support.
Okay. So are you in agreement to joint managing conservatorship?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so we have some agreements, I just noticed. Okay. And you're in agreement to a standard visitation order, is that correct?
Yes, that's what I would like.
Okay, and that would be like first, third, fifth weekends out of every month. It's like it's a long, detailed document about all the visits that are going to happen between yourself and the child and the father of the child. But you're okay with standard visitation right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And pick up and drop off, you would like to meet at a halfway point because I guess you and Mr. Webb are not living in the same counties?
We are at the moment, but I'm planning to move eventually, so I just figured meeting halfway would be the most fair for both of us.
Okay. So joint managing conservatorship, and you want no restrictions on geographic location.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then how are you working right now?
Not at the moment. I am on maternity leave right now, and I don't really plan to go back anytime soon.
Okay. And so you how is a child covered by insurance?
Through Medicaid.
Okay. And you're going to continue to apply for government assistance regarding the health care of the child?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you know if Mr. Webb has any other children?
He has a daughter.
Okay. And you, based on, well, we still need to go through testimony of his earnings, but you are in agreement to child support to be set at $724, which would be 17.5%, giving him credit for the other child beginning September the 1st of 2024. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're asking that he pay $114 per month to reimburse to the state effective September the 1st of 2024. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're not, as you stated earlier, you're not requesting any retro child support, medical support, or dental support. You are asking for a non-disclosure. Ms. Ariaga, do you have any safety concerns regarding Mr. Webb?
Not physically, just verbally. He can be verbally abusive at times, so that makes me a little bit afraid of him at times.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and so you're asking for a non-disclosure of your information on the order.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And court costs to be billed to Mr. Webb. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, I'm going to go ahead and pass the witness and call Mr. Webb.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Webb, hello. Can you please state your name for the record?
Eric Lane Webb.
And Mr. Webb, you heard the testimony about the child's name, Oliver Lane Webb. There is an acknowledgement of paternity that establishes your relationship with Oliver. I have that acknowledgement of paternity that I can share with the court. Are you in agreement, though, to the establishment of paternity and that you signed that document?
Absolutely.
Okay, so no problems with that at all. Great. Okay. Your Honor, would you'd like the state to show the acknowledgement of paternity?
Yeah. They're in
Okay.
agreement, it's fine.
Okay, great. It appears that you're both in agreement to joint managing conservatorship, which is equal rights for both of you as parents to Oliver, and you're in agreement to that too?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you heard Miss Ariaga state that she is thinking about moving and she wants no geographic restrictions placed on her ability to move around. Are you in agreement to that?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Can you tell us why you're not in agreement to that?
Because I would like my son to stay in the school district. It is a very good school district here in Bernie. And that's where my daughter has also grown up. And this is where I grew up as well. And I think this is a really great place for him to live and learn and be able to grow as a human.
I see. Okay. And so you're asking that perhaps there be some geographic restrictions keeping everyone in Kendall County?
Yes.
Okay. And so what is your relationship with the child? He's 4 years old.
I have him half of the time, basically. I have him. So It's kind of complicated because after we got our actual court date, she started to change the way that our visitation stuff was, because it was before she stopped working, I had him 5 days one week and 2 days the next week. And my mother was the one who was babysitting him while either one of us was at work.
Mhm. Okay, so, and how long was that arrangement in place?
That arrangement was in place for about a year and a half.
Okay, because you testified, or there was testimony that y'all either separated in October of 22 or March of 2023. So
Well, so she left me for another guy in October, but I continued living in her house. And then in March, I got my own place, and I've been residing here ever since.
Okay, so prior to March of 2023, you actually resided with your child too?
Yes.
Okay, and then after y'all separated, you guys had this 5 days, 2 days, 5 days, 2 days. Is that how?
It might have been a little bit different in the beginning. I think it was 4 days, 3 days, but it's kind of changed a little bit because that's the way that she kind of wanted it. And I was accepting of that, changing the days of the week, but I am not accepting the fact that, I don't want to see him any less.
Right. Okay. Because she is in agreement. There is an agreement that a joint managing conservatorship with the standard visitation order. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, you cut out a moment.
I thought so. So right now there is a request by Miss Ariaga for a standard visitation order, and you're not in agreement to a standard visitation order?
Absolutely not.
Okay. What is your hope for visits?
I want to have him half of the time, just like I always have, since we split up. And I think that's completely fair. I think I have just as many rights to my son as she does, and I want to be able to see him just as much as she does.
Mm-hmm. So what are you asking for? That way we can have like an idea of what it is that you want in regards to possession.
I want it to continue the way that it has been, 5 days one week, 2 days the next week, because so that I can, have him just as many days as she does.
Okay, so 5 days, so Sunday through Saturday, let's just give me an example of what it is that y'all would do.
It's okay.
For example,
I got it.
Okay, you got it. Okay, thank you.
Fashion from there.
Okay, all right. And so you're asking that the court continue that visitation schedule that you guys already
absolutely.
Have. Okay.
Absolutely.
And so, you have an additional child, a daughter, is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what do you do for a living, sir?
I am a shop foreman at a mechanic shop in San Antonio.
Okay, and how are you paid? Are you paid hourly, salary?
Yes, I'm paid hourly.
How much are you making hourly?
31.5 an hour.
Okay, and do you get 40 hours a week?
Yes.
Okay, and so based on guideline amounts for child support, the state calculated at 17.5% an amount of $724 to begin September the 1st of 2024. Are you in agreement to that amount, sir?
No, I am not. Actually, I don't understand why I would be paying child support if I had him half of the time. That would not make sense to me.
Okay. So if you didn't have him half of the time, because we don't know what the judge is going to rule in regards to this case, would you be willing to make payments towards child support? As
I would rather if I didn't have to, because I would like to have my son, you know, but if I have to, then I have to. That's wouldn't be a choice.
What
Correct?
did you say your hourly rate was, Mr. Webb?
$31 or 31.5 an hour.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Webb, do you have insurance through your employer? for all
Yes,
of
I
it?
do. And actually, I had planned on getting health and dental for him whenever open enrollment was coming back up.
Mhm. But currently, as a child, how is a child covered by insurance?
Medicaid provided
You
by
don't,
her, and
you
I
don't
had
need,
it.
you don't need open enrollment if the court orders it. What does it cost you to enroll him?
He wouldn't so I had talked to my insurance agent, and he told me that I needed, even though I said that I had an order, he said that I needed a qualified life event
You know,
for the medical.
he's wrong. So, a certified copy of your court order will open enrollment for you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that
My
would be great.
question is,
I had no idea.
how much does it cost you?
I'm not exactly sure. It may say on my paycheck stub how much it costs. But I'm not exactly sure. I can look it up real quick.
Well, Mr. Webb, it would seem like it would be in your best interest, because if it's more than $114 a month, seems like you should just leave the child on Medicaid. But if it's less than that, which it might be, since you're possibly are covering your other child, then you could do it that way and not have to pay the 114. But I mean,
either way, either way, for the time being, I'm in agreement of paying that 114.
okay.
The medical stuff, I'm not worried about that. It's just, the other part is what bothers me.
Okay, I got it.
All right, and Mr. Webb, Miss Ariaga is requesting a non-disclosure. That means none of her information will appear on the order. Are you in agreement to that?
I don't mind.
Okay. Do you have any safety concerns? Are you requesting any type of non-disclosure?
The only concern I have is her boyfriend, actually. He does not treat me well at all. He's actually been quite an antagonist, and I would rather if he was not around me whatsoever.
Okay. All right. Are you okay with the court costs being billed to you?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, the state will defer to the court in regards to possession and access, but it appears that the parties are in agreement to joint managing conservatorship. They are in agreement to medical support being set at $114 per month beginning September the 1st of 2024. There is no request for retro non-disclosure as to Ms. Ariaga, and court costs to be billed to Mr. Webb. Those are in agreement. We would defer to the court regarding possession and access, pickup and drop off, and child support amounts.
Okay, I have some questions real quick. Ms. Ariaga, you stated that you intend, I think is the word you used, to move in the future. What does that mean? You're muted, ma'am.
So I own my house, but I don't own the property that I live on. So I'm saving money to buy property to move my house onto, but I don't plan to move far. Like, I'm not trying to leave Texas. I just can't afford anything in Kendall County. So I was thinking like Pipe Creek, Bandera. So I'm not trying to move far away. I'm just trying to save up money to get land where I can afford to get land.
All right. Let's start with joint managing conservatorship. Geographical restriction will be in place to Kendall County and any contiguous county. Visitation. So, Mr. Webb, first of all, I've been sitting here in this seat almost 29 years. So I've developed some theories over that time. One is that before the child really gets to school age, maybe even for a couple more years, that 5-2 schedule would be okay. Works out pretty well. But once the child, well, especially once the child hits about 10, 11, 12, they need a place, a base, I'll call it. I won't say a home because it's definitely two different homes. They need a base and a non-base or a different base. I don't know I don't have good names for it. The 5-2 doesn't work real well, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Several years ago, the Texas legislature finally responded to that and did what they call extended standard visitation. If you exercise all of your extended standard visitation, you will have the child approximately 45% of the time. So it accomplishes the same thing that you're asking, but it does it with a bit more structure for the child. Every Thursday, okay, let's start. The first Friday of the month, which is your visitation under the standard. When it is your weekend, you pick up the child Thursday after school and you return the child Monday morning to school. Okay? Then the following week, when it's not your weekend, you still get to pick up the child on Thursday after school. You return the child to school on Friday morning. Okay, but then you don't have the weekend.
Yes.
There is more liberal visitation with respect to spring break, a little more time in the summer. But I think that accomplishes what you were asking for, but does it in a way that is more structured and more predictable for the child, especially as homework becomes an issue. I've seen so many teenagers go, oh, I did my homework at dad's house. And, oh, mom or dad, I did my homework or my science project at mom's house, and none of it was accurate. So I do believe that this schedule works better. So I'm going to order an extended standard visitation for you.
Okay.
So even if Ms. Ariaga does move to a different city, it'll still be within contiguous to Kendall County, and you should be able to still accomplish that extended visitation.
Okay.
Okay. Child support. I calculated my own based on the 3150. I'm assuming they used actual wages because I didn't get anything other than, and they actually came up with less than I did. So I'm going to go with the 724 and the 114 a month. Beginning in September. I am going to say, Mr. Webb, that Do you have your older daughter on your insurance plan?
I do not.
Okay, then it's probably going to be more expensive. But if you already had her insured, it might not cost you anything to add Oliver, and it would save you some money. If you look at open enrollment and you decide to do that, be sure and let the state know so that they can substitute that and stop charging you that $114. Okay?
Okay. I just have one more question. Why? I just don't understand. If I have him 45% of the time, then why is there so much child support? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
They're actually unrelated.
Uh, that doesn't make any sense. If I have the kid half the time, then why would I be supporting her life? That doesn't make any sense.
Her life. You're supporting a roof over your son's head.
But
No, you may not. You may not. This is a legal discussion. I'm talking legal. I do not believe that Texas always has the most fair way. Some other states take into account both parents' income and kind of do a machination of that and then a percentage. Texas doesn't do that. Texas says 20% for one child. Obviously, yours is less because you have another child. So it's 17.5%, irrespective of possession.
It still just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would it be like that? That literally makes no sense. If I have the kid half the time, why would I pay anything?
You are welcome to call your legislature. Or appeal my ruling and let the district judge hear it. You're welcome to do either of those or both. All right, you guys have my order. Are there any questions about the order? I am going to order the non-disclosure, the court costs. Yes, ma'am.
So if our son is going with him half the time, but not actually going to be with him and be with his mother when he could be with me, like I don't understand that, because the only reason he wants that extended time is because he thought he wasn't going to have to pay child support.
Well,
but he doesn't get home until 8 o'clock at night.
Visitation is a privilege, not an obligation.